Okay, imagine this for a second. You're right there, about to sign something huge. Maybe it's legal papers overseas somewhere.
Yeah, or maybe you're sorting out immigration for your family.
Exactly. Or, like, trying to understand what a doctor's telling you in a language you barely know.
Mm-hmm. The words matter a lot.
They really do. But what happens when those super important documents have to cross a language barrier and, the stakes are incredibly high?
Well, that's where things can get risky, often in ways people don't even see.
How so?
A tiny slip in language, maybe a phrase interpreted just slightly wrong, even a formatting mistake.
Right.
It could derail everything.
Everything. Like what?
We're talking legal trouble, major delays, uh, even financial problems. Really serious stuff.
Okay, so that's really the heart of our deep dive today, isn't it? This unseen world of professional translation.
Exactly. We want to look at the gold standard, the
Yeah.
one set by the American Translators Association, the ATA.
And explore why getting a certified human translation isn't just like a nice to have, but actually essential for your most critical documents.
Right. Our mission today is really to unpack what makes expert human translation so vital and show the hidden dangers, the consequences, if you try to cut corners.
And we should mention all this insight, it's coming straight from the ATA's own materials, their documents, gives us a pretty unique look.
It does, an authoritative perspective.
So let's start right there. With the ATA, for anyone who doesn't know, they were founded way back in 1959. What's their main role? I mean, as the biggest professional group for translators and interpreters in the U.S.
Well, you can think of the ATA as kind of the guardian of quality and ethics in the field.
Okay.
They don't just bring members together. They set really tough standards for competence, for ethical behavior, professional growth. They're basically shaping the whole profession.
So like the AMA for doctors or the bar for lawyers, but for language professionals.
Exactly that kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
And a big challenge for them, especially now, is keeping up with technology, AI and stuff, while making sure that human expertise stays central. That's key.
That makes sense. Which leads us straight to ATA certification. I've heard it's, well, notoriously difficult to get.
Oh, it is?
What makes it so incredibly tough? More than just being bilingual.
Oh, way more. It's a 3-hour exam. And it's not just about knowing the languages. It digs deep into what we call professional level translation skill.
Okay, professional level skill. What does that actually mean?
It means mastering tricky grammar, syntax, yes, but also understanding the cultural nuances. That's huge in both languages.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, it tests advanced technique. Can you convey the meaning, the tone, the intent behind the words, not just a literal swap?
So it's about judgment, too. Like knowing a direct translation might actually miss the point or even be wrong in context.
Precisely. It tests professional judgment, like, should this idiom be translated literally, or do you need a completely different phrase that means the same thing culturally? Gotcha.
I remember hearing about a case, sort of a teaching example, where translating a business term word for word was technically correct, but culturally came across as an insult, could have tanked the whole deal.
Wow.
Navigating those little landmines, that's what sets certified pros apart. And that's why the pass rate is so low, often under 20%.
Under 20%, serious.
Yep, and the exam. It's graded by at least 2 senior certified translators, so it's incredibly rigorous.
And that rigor isn't just about, making it hard. It's crucial for you, the person relying on that translation, when things really matter.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to that critical difference. Choosing between a certified pro versus, say, a free app online, or even asking a friend who speaks the language.
Right. When it's your immigration status or your legal rights or maybe your career, your education, that choice can have huge, maybe devastating consequences you didn't expect.
Let's take immigration. USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. What are their rules? Okay, so with USCIS, it's completely clear. No wiggle room. Any document not in English must come with a full English translation.
Okay.
And crucially, it needs a formal certification. That's a signed statement from the translator or the company saying, yes, this is complete, and yes, this is accurate.
So something like Google Translate, it just can't provide that piece of paper, that signed statement.
Exactly. It can't give you the certification. But the problem goes deeper than just missing a signature.
How so?
These free tools, they're just not reliable enough for high-stakes stuff. They mess up names. They misunderstand legal terms, medical terms. They can totally mangle the formatting of a document.
And the consequence for you. It might not just be a delay, like a request for evidence, an RFE.
Right, which can mean months of waiting, agonizing. But it could even be worse, an outright denial. Or Something subtle, like creating a bad first impression that follows your case. That's a risk people don't always think about.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the legal system needs that same kind of absolute precision, right? Court filings in Massachusetts, maybe a business contract up in New Hampshire. Clarity is everything.
Everything. Think about it. A badly translated contract, it could change who's liable for what. An affidavit that's not quite accurate, it could completely undermine a witness's testimony. We're talking about potentially life-altering impacts. Freedom. Money.
So this is where the certified translation service really proves its worth.
It's indispensable in these cases.
Mm.
It's not just about getting the words right. It's about getting a legally sound document, one that's backed by professional accountability.
So what does that guarantee look like in practice?
Well, first, human expertise. Always. No machine translation for certified work. Period.
Okay.
Second, there's always a review, a second pair of eyes, another senior translator checks everything meticulously.
Right.
And third, you get that guaranteed compliance, the signed certificate of accuracy, often notarized by a licensed notary public, so it holds up in court.
That's thorough.
It has to be. It's why companies that follow these standards, human experts, two-person review, like translatedpage.com, for example, they can report really high acceptance rates, like 99.8% with USCIS and other agencies. It shows that the process, that professional trust, works.
It's fascinating, though, how the ATA's work goes way beyond just the certification itself. They're really active in advocacy, right? Promoting the value of these services.
They really are. They're constantly working to raise awareness and tackle issues facing the profession.
Like what kind of issues?
Well, for instance, they recently weighed in on a Wisconsin bill, Senate Bill 357. They sent a letter warning about using AI in courts instead of human interpreters.
Oh, interesting. Why?
They stressed how critical human nuance is, especially in legal settings. Understanding tone, implication, things AI might miss.
Makes sense.
They've also put out guidance for interpreters who might encounter law enforcement unexpectedly. It shows they're looking out for the profession's integrity, but also their members' safety on the ground. These are important behind-the-scenes actions.
And for the translators and interpreters themselves, the ATA provides a lot of support.
Absolutely. It's a strong community. They have annual conferences, webinars all the time, different divisions for specialties like legal or medical, mentoring programs too, and really useful for anyone needing services, their language services directory. It lists over 7,000 professionals. You can search by language, specialty, location, credentials. It's a fantastic resource for finding someone you can trust.
That sounds incredibly useful.
It really is. And the ATA keeps its finger on the pulse of the industry too. They report on broader news and challenges.
Such as?
Oh, all sorts of things. Recently, they've covered the arrest of a former Afghan interpreter by ICE, which raised concerns. Also, federal efforts pushing for English-only services in some areas.
Okay.
Issues in other countries, too, like changes to how Canada hires parliamentary interpreters. And the reaction from translators about new AI services trying to translate fiction. It's a real mix, but it shows the complex landscape they operate in.
And they're presenting these issues impartially, just reporting on what's happening.
Yes, reporting on the developments affecting the industry, the concerns being raised by professionals. It's about keeping everyone informed.
And there's also a foundation connected to this, AFTI.
That's right, the American Foundation for Translation and Interpretation. AFTI supports the profession too, but more through things like research grants, scholarships, creating educational materials, kind of bolstering the academic and developmental side.
So all of this work, the standards, the advocacy, the resources, it ultimately circles back to why this matters to you, the listener.
Exactly. Think about businesses.
Yeah.
Professional translators help them expand, reach new customers globally, grow their bottom line. It's essential for international commerce.
And in public services, too, it's critical.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Take New Hampshire, for example. Nearly 10% of the people there speak a language other than English at home.
Wow, 10%.
Yeah. So in healthcare there, clear communication isn't just good practice for patient safety, it's often a legal requirement.
Makes perfect sense.
Or think about Massachusetts. With so many international students, diverse immigrant communities, the schools rely heavily on translation and interpreting to meet legal standards and to make sure all students can actually learn effectively. It's about basic access and safety in our diverse society.
So wrapping this up, it really feels like the core message is pretty clear. In this connected world, professional, certified translation, it's not some luxury item.
Not at all. It's foundational.
Yeah.
For accuracy, yes, but also for legal compliance, for your personal security, your future sometimes.
And it makes you think, If just one mistranslated document, a legal paper or a medical note, can cause such huge personal problems,
Hmm.
what are the bigger societal costs when we maybe undervalue these professional language services in other areas we don't even think about?
That's a great question. What other small language barriers, things we just take for granted, might actually be holding back progress? Or creating risks we haven't seen yet? Or maybe even quietly making inequalities worse in this globalized world?
It really highlights the hidden immense value of having these linguistic bridges. They kind of hold everything together, don't they?
They really do, more than we probably realize.